All right, we're here with Miles O'Brien. You got a fascinating story. Let me give our viewers, Miles, a little background. In recent weeks, we've heard a lot of the allegations concerning potential voter registration fraud as well as potential voter suppression. But could the biggest threat to the legitimacy of the election lie with counting your vote, Miles? There are enormous problems out there, and you've been looking at this. You got a map with a lot of colors. Explain what's going on.
Well, let's take a look at this map. This is not the magic map, and so let's remember when we talk about red here, we're not talking about any political affiliation. Everywhere where you see red there indicates they have voting machines that don't give voters a voter verification, in essence, an audit trail of knowing how they voted. Let's look at a couple of battleground states. Ohio. Ohio's actually in pretty good shape. Wherever you see green or yellow means either it's a paper ballot or a DRE, fancy word for a computer, with VVPAT, voter verified audit trail. Now, let's go next door, Pennsylvania. We've been talking an awful lot about Pennsylvania. The number's getting closer there. Look at all that red. That means in all those counties, in all those locations, voters vote on a computer. They don't have any way of verifying how they voted, and it's making a lot of people long for the good old days of the old machines. Ever since this ugly scene 8 years ago, politicos have spent billions of your money to throw out the old and bring in the new. Congress even created a new agency to give states suggestions on what to buy.
We're hoping that the very design of the testing and certification program is so robust. The states will want to opt into the program because it will be the gold standard.
But 8 years later, there is no national standard. And even if there was, states would not have to comply.
I think it's a huge mess.
Election crusader Susan Greenhalgh says the problem is computer voting systems in 17 states and D.C. that leave no paper trail.
Spending a lot of money on equipment without oversight, without a rigorous testing process, without a surety that these systems were actually going to perform better than what we had before was a mistake.
How big a mistake? Princeton computer science professor Andrew Appel bought 5 surplus computerized voting machines like those used in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Louisiana, and he easily hacked them. He removed a metal cover and found the memory chip.
You pry out one of these chips with a screwdriver, and you push in your replacement.
That's it.
So that's it.
He programmed the replacement to cheat in favor of one party by 10% forever without leaving a trace. No paper backup.
If you found that there were fraudulent computer chips in them, you wouldn't know what the vote totals should have been.
Right. So you'd have to have another vote.
That doesn't happen usually.
So Professor Appel, Wolf, is among the people who say that really the safest way to do this is to vote on paper, scan them in with computers. Then you have a computer record, and you also have a stack of paper where you can either cross-check it, or if there's a failure, you've got some other way to count the vote.
I don't understand why this has to be this complicated. You go, you give somebody a Visa or MasterCard, you get a little piece of paper. They do that billions and billions of times around the world every single day, and we can't figure out a way to make this safe and secure.
Yeah, we sent a man to the moon, and we still have problems with this. The problem with comparing it to, say, the Visa transaction, the ATM, or just buying a coffee is there's no problem with anonymity. We have secret ballots in this country. So when you could put secrecy on one side and accuracy on the other, they're at odds with each other, and it's difficult for you to know if your vote went through and still maintain.
That's what you call getting off message. But I tell you, you guys look good.
The campaign wants itself described as